Imagine you're walking through a crowded city. Faces blur by, laughter echoes from cafes. It's a typical day. And yet beneath the surface, something stirs, a darkness that could erupt in an instant. You might dismiss it as nonsense, but let me share a story. It might change your view. In 2012, in the bustling city of New York, an ordinary man named Daniel Ballinger found himself enveloped in an extraordinary situation. He was a simple citizen, not a renowned psychologist, not a social researcher, just an average guy going about his daily life. Yet what happened next would forever alter his perspective on human behavior. It was a chance encounter that changed everything. Daniel found himself face to face with a man who was drenched, soaked to the bone as if he'd just jumped into a pool fully clothed. At first glance, it seemed like a peculiar sight, a man soaked to the bone on a dry, sunny day. But as Daniel looked closely, he noticed something that sent shivers down his spine. The man was not just wet, was shivering violently, his body shaking uncontrollably, as if he were experiencing something deeply unsettling. It was clear that something was wrong, but what Daniel didn't know was that he was witnessing the beginning of a horrifying ordeal. What compelled him to offer a helping hand that day, though? Was it empathy? Curiosity? Or perhaps a sense of duty? Whatever the reason, it marked the beginning of a journey into the darkest recesses of the human psyche. The man whom we'll call Subject A was experiencing something intense, something beyond mere physical discomfort. His eyes were wide with terror, his breathing was labored, and his body trembled violently. It was evident that he wasn't merely cold. He was grappling with something deeply disturbing, something that shook him to his core. Daniel's initial reaction was a mix of concern and bewilderment. He couldn't comprehend why someone would willingly jump into a pool fully dressed and shiver uncontrollably afterward. Surely there must be more to the story, he thought, though he couldn't have imagined the harrowing truth. As time passed, Subject A's condition grew increasingly alarming. He became agitated, his movements erratic, his speech incoherent. It was as if something sinister was taking hold of him, twisting his emotions and shattering his composure. Daniel watched in growing horror as Subject A descended into a state of utter chaos. It was then that Daniel realized he was witnessing something far from ordinary. This was no longer a case of a man who was simply cold or distressed. No, this was a transformation, a descent into a terrifying abyss that left Daniel questioning the very nature of humanity. Before we delve deeper into this gripping tale, let's take a moment to consider its broader implications. What are the forces that shape human behavior? How far can an ordinary person be pushed? And what lengths would you go to protect yourself from the horrors you witness?
Prayers.
Daniel found himself caught in a moral dilemma. Should he step in and help Subject A, even if it meant confronting something deeply unsettling? Or should he distance himself, shielding his own sanity while Subject A descended further into turmoil? It was a choice that would test the depths of his compassion and the limits of his endurance. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the city, Daniel knew he couldn't stand by idly. He had to act. Slowly, cautiously, he began to engage with Subject A, attempting to understand what had driven him to such a state of distress. Through hesitant conversations and gentle gestures, Daniel sought to piece together the puzzle of Subject A's shattered psyche. But with every interaction, he risked being pulled into the vortex of madness. It was during one of these intense moments that Subject A shared fragments of a terrifying ordeal. He spoke of a sinister experiment, of unseen forces manipulating him, pushing him to the brink of insanity. His words were cryptic, yet they hinted at a dark conspiracy that chilled Daniel to the bone. Could there be something more sinister at play? A hidden force orchestrating this descent into chaos, Daniel wondered? Determined to uncover the truth, Daniel delved deeper into Subject A's story, piecing together the fragmented tales of a terrifying ordeal. As he listened intently, he realized that Subject A was not merely a victim of circumstance. No, he was the product of a sinister design, a pawn in a game played by unseen forces. The experiment, as Subject A described it, was not a random occurrence. It was a calculated, terrifying spectacle, orchestrated by those who delighted in pushing the boundaries of human endurance. As Daniel absorbed these chilling revelations, he found himself confronting a horrifying realization. Subject A was not an isolated case. He was merely the latest victim in a series of sinister experiments conducted by a shadowy organization known only as the Collective. This clandestine group, shrouded in secrecy, had been conducting horrifying tests on unsuspecting individuals, pushing them to the brink of madness and beyond. Fueled by a burning desire for justice, Daniel vowed to expose the Collective and bring their sinister operations to light. He understood that Subject A was just one piece of a much larger puzzle. A puzzle that revealed a dark underbelly of human experimentation and malevolent intent. With newfound determination, Daniel set out to unravel the secrets of the Collective, determined to bring their nefarious activities to an end. As the investigation deepened, he uncovered a network of deceit and manipulation that stretched far and wide, implicating powerful figures who reveled in the torment of others. Each step forward brought new horrors to light, testing Daniel's resolve and challenging his perception of reality. In a world where shadows dance and secrets whisper, Daniel finds himself on a perilous path, a journey that threatens to consume him as he confronts the darkness that lurks within the human heart. The revelation about the Collective sent shockwaves through Daniel, propelling him into a whirlwind of activity as he raced against time to expose their sinister deeds. He knew that every moment was crucial, that lives hung in the balance as he sought to dismantle the Collective's web of deception and bring their reign of terror to an end. Daniel's quest for justice led him through a labyrinth of hidden clues and covert operations, forcing him to confront the depths of human depravity. As he delved deeper into the mystery, he discovered a terrifying truth. The Collective's reach was vast, their influence pervasive, and their grip on society unyielding. With each passing day, the stakes escalated, placing Daniel in perilous situations where survival was never guaranteed. He found himself targeted, pursued by shadowy figures who sought to silence him. The closer he got to exposing the Collective, the more danger he faced. Despite the mounting threats, Daniel refused to back down, forged alliances with unexpected allies, individuals who had also fallen victim to the Collective's machinations. Together they formed a resistance, a beacon of hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. As the final showdown approached, Daniel and his allies devised a daring plan to expose the Collective's atrocities to the world. They prepared for a confrontation that would test their courage, determination, and the strength of their bonds. In a heart-stopping climax, Daniel confronted the leaders of the Collective, exposing their sinister plans and bringing their reign of terror to an end. The truth unleashed, the Collective's power crumbled, leaving them vulnerable in the face of justice. But the victory came at a cost. Daniel and his allies suffered losses that cut deep, reminding them of the heavy price paid in the pursuit of truth and freedom. As the dust settled, the world grappled with the revelations brought to light. The exposure of the Collective sent shockwaves that reverberated across society, forcing humanity to confront the darkness that had lurked within its midst. In the aftermath of the ordeal, Daniel emerged as a symbol of hope and resilience, having shown that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit could prevail. His journey became a testament to the power of courage and the indomitable will of those who dared to fight for justice. And as for Subject A, he found solace and healing. Though forever marked by the horrors he endured, he emerged as a beacon of strength, symbolizing the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. So what lessons can we draw from this chilling narrative? How does it reflect the complexities of human behavior and the depths of human endurance? First and foremost, the story underscores the importance of empathy and compassion. Despite the unsettling nature of Subject A's condition, Daniel chose to help, recognizing the humanity in a man who seemed lost to madness. This act of kindness serves as a reminder to approach others with understanding, even when confronted with the bizarre and terrifying. Moreover, the tale highlights the fragility of the human psyche. Subject A's transformation reveals the immense power of external forces and psychological manipulation in shaping our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It compels us to recognize the delicate balance between sanity and chaos that exists within each of us. Furthermore, the story sheds light on the sinister nature of human experimentation and the lengths to which some will go to satisfy their own desires. The Collective's horrifying practices serve as a chilling reminder of the importance of ethical boundaries and the dangers of unchecked ambition. Finally, the narrative celebrates the power of resilience and the triumph of the human spirit. Despite the trauma they endure, both Daniel and Subject A demonstrate remarkable strength and determination. Their journey offers a glimmer of hope, showing that even in the face of unimaginable darkness, the human spirit can endure and even prevail. As you reflect on this gripping tale, consider the profound impact it has on your own perspectives and values. Embrace empathy, cherish the fragility of humanity, and stand against the forces that seek to exploit and manipulate. Remember, in a world where darkness may seem all-consuming, even the smallest act of kindness can be a beacon of hope. And it is through our collective compassion and resilience that we can truly conquer the shadows that lurk within the human heart. If you want to hear more stories about the darkest depths of the human mind, stay tuned for more content. Let the journey continue, but tread carefully. For in the realm of darkness, even the brightest minds can be tested.